Okay, hi, my name is Steve Roses, and I'm from HeinOnline, and I'm joined by my colleague, Tim Hoagie, who is also um, from HeinOnline,
Hi,
and
everyone.
together, hi, Tim.
Hi, Steve.
Together, we will both, we'll be monitoring the chat line as well as communicating with you. And just so everyone knows, we are recording this, so we should be able to use this so that to send it to you so that you can have it at a later date. With all of that said, I now have recording going and I will begin. Thank you everyone for attending. And some of you, by the way, I just recently saw at two different conferences. Some of you I saw at the American Library Association, and some of you were at the American Association of Law Libraries. So between those two conferences and this group of people, we're very happy that we were able to see you. So we're going to give you a webinar overview. Last month, in honor of Pride Month, HeinOnline added a new database, LGBTQ rights, to our complimentary social justice suite. So we're going to be covering those free databases. So any institution can get this social justice suite for free. Some of you already had access to it through, you may get the core collection, or you may be a law firm and you may get the core collection, or a HeinOnline academic core collection. Any of those sources may allow you to already have the social justice suite, or you could be a library or an entity that doesn't have any other HeinOnline material other than this social justice suite, and this is still perpetually free for you, and it includes 5 different databases, which we will describe and show you. Just so you know, we have some key people in our sales department who do these demos on a monthly basis. Myself, we have Tim Hoagie, who's the Senior Director of Sales, and Roxanne Marmion, who's a sales professional as well. Okay, about the social justice suite. So there are 5 different free collections. So when you get the social justice suite, you get all 5 of these collections, because we've just added a new collection. LGBTQ rights is the newest, but the other ones are Slavery in America and the World, which was the first one that came out in 2016. Then we had Gun Regulation and Legislation in America. Then we had Civil Rights and Social Justice. Then we had the Open Justice Society Justice Initiative. The Open Society Justice Initiative covers human rights. And then LGBTQ rights is the brand new. So just so you know, if you are a HeinOnline core subscriber, please note that Social Justice Suite is automatically included in your access. And if you don't get anything from HeinOnline, you can also just subscribe to the Social Justice Suite. Let's say you're not a core subscriber, you can just get the free Social Justice Suite with no charge, and it will be perpetually free. Okay, let's just take a look at what the Slavery in America and the World collection includes. We're talking about nearly 2,200 titles and 1.2 million pages of essential legal materials relating to the history of slavery in the United States and the English-speaking world. We have a slavery quick finder tool that you should know about, and this is an award-winning collection, so just be aware of that. It did receive, the RUSA was named to a list of significant historical materials databases in approximately 2016. And I should also tell you that even though this is a historic collection, we do keep adding materials to it, because as we get relationships with new libraries, as people make us aware of different documents that have never been online before that we can scan and digitize, we keep adding new materials to this database, as we do to so many of our individual HeinOnline collections. And this is despite the fact that this Slavery in the World collection is totally free and will always be free. The next database we came out with that is part of the Social Justice Suite is Gun Regulation and Legislation in America. And this has hundreds of titles that analyze this topic of gun regulation in America. So we're going to look at legislative histories, congressional hearings, CRS reports, Supreme Court briefs, and more things that relate to gun regulation and legislation, both on a federal and state level. Federal legislative history, Supreme Court briefs, government reports, related congressional hearings, and periodicals and scholarly articles. And those periodicals and scholarly articles can be from different states. So obviously there are going to be some state and some states and some articles that have more gun regulation and some have less, et cetera. And obviously this is an area that is constantly evolving. And that's why one of the reasons we see it as our role to keep you informed as this area does evolve. Another big one that we came up with is the Civil Rights and Social Justice collection. Perhaps one of the largest parts of the Social Justice Suite. We have more than 4,100 titles and 1 million pages. This is a combination, like so many HeinOnline collections, this is a combination of so many different types of documents: legislative histories, congressional committee prints and hearings, Supreme Court briefs, so you can see the amicus briefs and briefs by other parties in some of the Supreme Court cases, various government reports such as commissions materials, relevant scholarly articles, commission on civil rights documents, and the Statement of Essential Human Rights, which is affiliated with the American Law Institute. Okay, so then after that one came out, we had the Open Society Justice Initiative. This group was founded by George Soros and the world's private funder of these types of projects looking into democratic governance and human rights. And so we have lots of materials from the Open Society Justice Initiative. Just to emphasize, this is the collection that really focuses on human rights from the Social Justice Suite. And then the most recent one, LGBTQ Rights, which is a collection of materials relating to the gay rights movement in America, including, and this is a unique feature, lots of these different collections are set up in a similar way, but this, I believe, is one of our only collections, if not our only collection, that has an interactive timeline, which you'll see is very useful in getting across the history of the gay rights movement. So I'm going to show you that as well. And that the timeline is by Charlotte Snyder, by the way, a law librarian. And so this is a great collection. There are really 6 areas of focus in looking at gay rights: marriage and marriage and family, employment discrimination, AIDS and healthcare, military service, public spaces and society, and historical attitudes and analysis. And once again, it's combining all these different types of documents. Also, I should tell you, and you may be familiar with the fact that we recently coded all the subjects to all these areas in HeinOnline. We have new categories and subjects and a more involved taxonomy, so you can go on, so you can research HeinOnline on a multidisciplinary basis. And this is really profoundly done in the LGBTQ rights. We have subject coded titles with 15 new subjects added. As I mentioned, there is the interactive timeline. This also has scholarly articles. This has government documents and much more. Okay, now if you don't get the Social Justice Suite, for example, if you never registered for the Social Justice Suite, which is those 5 free collections, or you don't have one of the HeinOnline core collections, such as Academic Core, or if you're a law firm, your US Core Plus, or if you're a government library core, if you don't have one of those core collections, or you haven't registered for Social Justice Suite, you probably don't yet get the Social Justice Suite. And so we recommend you do. So you can see this link right here. You can also go to our website and go to it at HeinOnline.org, but you can see visit https://home.heinonline.org/subscriptions/social justice suite. And then you just fill out this form, and then within a couple of days, we'll have this set up for you. You can give us your IP range if you have an IP range and you want to set it up that way. If you don't have an IP range, you can set it up using a username and password, etc. In some cases, we can set it up in both ways if you need it both ways. Okay, for those of you who already have the Social Justice Suite and have never tried one of our core packages, for example, if you're an academic institution, we do go, and you don't currently have HeinOnline, you can have a trial of one of our core collections. Now, this is separate than those free collections, but just letting you know, anytime you want a free 6-month no obligation trial to one of our core packages, you can get them. So be aware of that, and it can be as long as 6 months. So in addition to the perpetually free Social Justice Suite, you can get a free, no obligation whatsoever 6-month trial to one of our HeinOnline core packages. but I suspect that most of you already do subscribe. So just be aware of that. Now I am going to give you a new view. And I'm going to stop the share for a second. And I'm going to give you a view of actually this material on HeinOnline. And let me know if you can't see the screen, but you should be able to see the social justice, just literally the social justice suite on HeinOnline. Can everyone see that? I'm assuming you can now see that because that is the screen that I selected. And we have the different social justice suite databases. So let's start with this first one, which is Slavery in America and World History, Culture, and Law. So with like any other HeinOnline collection, if you want to see what's in a collection quickly in a snapshot, or even what titles are in a collection, just click on the eye and it will open up. It'll tell you how many titles are in the collection, how many volumes, how many pages. You can even download both a text KBART file or a CSV, which you can save as an Excel file. And you can get a list of all the titles in a collection. We tend to add to our collections on a monthly basis. So this would be the list as of the most recent monthly update. Now, let's open up this Slavery in the World collection so you can get a look at it. It's Slavery in America and the World, History, Culture, and Law. And you can see, like so many HeinOnline collections, we can look and browse at all the titles so we can see what's in here. We can focus in on periodicals. We can look at specific slavery statutes, not only pro-slavery statutes from the 1600s, 1700s, and 1800s, et cetera, but also slavery statutes that deal with abolition movement, especially in the northern states, et cetera. And so the whole period of slavery in the United States, and in some cases, the world in other English-speaking countries that have had slavery or have been involved in the slave trade. We have key judicial cases dealing with slavery. And then our editors have selected scholarly articles and other documents dealing with the subject of slavery. And then we have these UNC press publications. These focus in on African-American history. So there's some really interesting UNC press publications here. And then we have bibliography and we have LibGuide. As someone asked, are the LibGuides open access? In that, can anyone who has the slavery database use the slavery database, the free slavery LibGuide? Yes, you can just go right to our website and use any of our LibGuides to put on your website, to teach your patrons about that HeinOnline collection, to inform your students if you're an academic institution, to inform your partners if you're a law firm. We really want people using our LibGuide and also our blog, which is constantly adding in new material and describing how to use HeinOnline in certain specific areas. Now, like all our collections, you can do a regular search. So you can search this slavery database, or you can even do an advanced search. So to get into an advanced search, you just click on advanced search, and that will allow you to do other features. For example, you can search the slavery database by text, title, creator, author. You have built-in proximity. You could also do that with Boolean if you're familiar with using Boolean connectors on HeinOnline, but you don't need to know those. And certainly your patrons don't need to know those. You can just have that built in right here with this template and get proximity right there. And you even can do and or right here or not. And then we have this feature called Venn diagram search, which I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you in the Civil Rights and Social Justice collection. I'm going to do most of the searching that I'm going to be doing in today's demo in the Civil Rights and Social Justice collection. So just be aware of this Venn diagram feature. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. So I should be able, don't let me forget to demonstrate that for you as we go further. But you can see here on this advanced search, you can specify the slavery topic. You know, if you want to zero in on Abraham Lincoln, African slave trade, Black authors, etc., abolition, you can specify the topic, whatever it may be. You can specify the slavery position. Was it anti-slavery or abolitionist in orientation? Was this document pro-slavery, as many documents were, obviously, before slavery was made illegal? And then not applicable, like it's not necessarily pro-slavery or anti-slavery, it's just relates to the topic of slavery. Okay, then you can look at different slavery jurisdictions. I mentioned that this is not just the United States. In fact, it's not just North America. Yes, we have Canada, but anything, if any countries were related to the slave trade in Europe, we have material from there, South America, and you can even specify specific parts of the United States. You can even specify a country like Haiti, where many of the citizens are descendants of slaves, etc. So you can do that. You can specify the dates. You can search specific sections, and you can just search that way. And so that is one of the features that really allows your students in a unique way to get their hands on your students and patrons and library patrons and partners if you're in a law firm, allows you to get a feel for researching slavery. Okay, let me show you one of the other collections in the Social Justice Suite, and that is the Civil Rights and Social Justice Collection. Now, once again, if you want to see what's in here or get a download of the list of titles, you'll notice there are 4,247 titles, over 1 million pages. You can get a KBART file and text, or download this as CSV and save it as an Excel file. And you can go right to the Civil Rights and Social Justice Collection, one of the free databases that's part of the Social Justice Suite. When you sign up for the Social Justice Suite, you get all 5 of them. Was someone talking, by the way?
Oh, are you able to zoom in your screen a little bit? It's very hard to see.
Okay, you want me to make it bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, is that better?
Thank you.
Yeah, just so there's no background noise, if everyone can mute themselves, but we will have time for questions at the end, and you can also chat your questions. So just be aware of that. But in case there's like dogs barking, we don't want that. Luckily, my dog stopped barking before we started, so we don't have to worry about that, but it's possible that she may start barking again, but hopefully not. Okay, so now we're in the Civil Rights and Social Justice Collection. Like other collections on HeinOnline, this is divided in useful tabs that allow you to focus in on what type of documents you're looking for. So there are Commission on Civil Rights documents, there are committee prints, there are CRS, which is Congressional Research Service reports, specifically in the area of civil rights and social justice. There's GAO materials. HeinOnline, the main core collections often have GAO materials, but this is specifically in this collection, it's GAO materials, GAO reports specifically on the area of civil rights and social justice. We also have congressional hearings in many other parts of HeinOnline, but in this free collection on civil rights and social justice, it's specifically civil rights and social justice oriented, full text, fully searchable congressional hearings. Legislative histories. You want to look at the history of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act. You can find the legislative histories, the relevant documents, the actual statute, supporting articles, etc., and the different versions of the bill and the different things that have happened in congressional meetings on the different bills. It depends on which statute, obviously, to find out what are the most, has the, some statutes have larger legislative histories than other statutes. But you'll see, if you've ever done legislative history research on HeinOnline, it's very easy to do. And like other collections, it's very easy to do in the Social Justice Suite, and specifically the Civil Rights and Social Justice. Then we have Supreme Court briefs. So you might know that in other parts of HeinOnline, we have the full US Supreme Court. Every single case from the US Supreme Court, from the very beginning of the US Supreme Court to current. But we also have in various collections Supreme Court briefs, so you could actually see the different arguments that the different sides make. For example, in our Women in the Law collection, which is part of some of your core collections, or some of you subscribe to it, our Women in the Law collection has Supreme Court briefs as well. But in this free collection, the Civil Rights and Social Justice, we have Supreme Court briefs specifically dealing with civil rights and social justice cases. Then we have the Statement of Essential Human Rights Archive, other related works, scholarly articles, and the LibGuides. Once again, you can use this LibGuide. You can, for this particular collection, you can put it right on your website. You can put any of the Social Justice Suite LibGuides right on your website if you want to do that, if you get civil rights and social justice perpetually free databases. Oh, okay, so let us go into here. I'm going to do some advanced searching. And let's do a search. I'm going to do a search on separate but equal. And I'm going to put in, let's see. I'll put in Plessy here, and I'll put in, well, I'm going to put a different term. I'm going to put poverty. Okay, now we're searching in the civil rights and social justice, all the places in the text where we have the term separate but equal, and Plessy, and poverty. And now we're not going to limit it by year, but we could. We can also put the results in relevance order, or we can put them in volume date, newest first or oldest first, or by document title, but we'll just leave that blank. We'll just leave that at the default, which is relevance for now. Okay, and see we have 313 results, such as this result, which is an article on the historical convergence in the desegregation policy of education in the United States. Notice we have something here called Scholar Check. This instantly tells you that this article has been cited by one other article in HeinOnline. If you want to go to the article that cites this article, you just click here and it'll take you right to the full text of that article. If you want to email this to someone, you can email this to them, and they don't have to be a subscriber. You can send them a temporary link to this or any document on HeinOnline. You can download here, you can print, you can save this document on MyHein. If you have a MyHein account, which is free to any subscriber, you can set up MyHein, which is a bookmarking tool, and you can just simply save any documents that you like. So let's open this up just so we can actually look at a document here. And you can see that we have the ability to download here. We have the email. If you want to get a text of this page, for example, if someone is using a screen reader and you don't want to have the full PDF, you have a fully searchable text. You could click and change it right there, or you can leave it as the PDF. And this is going to have all original pages and documents and footnotes, and all the pagination is going to be original. It's fully searchable. And anytime you see blue hypertext link within a document in HeinOnline, you can simply click on it and it will take you to other documents, whether they be statutes, whether they be other cases, whether they be articles, and it's seamlessly connected. And that's one of the many ways that HeinOnline is very useful in finding a full range of information on a given topic, such as civil rights and social justice. Now, let's say you find this article to be really, really on point on the issue of desegregation policy of education. If you're in an academic institution, or you're doing some constitutional law research in a law firm, you might want to get a permalink to this page, so you always link right to this article, and that would be through this permalink button. You can even get a permalink to one of the pages. It doesn't have to be the first page. It could be any page within the document. And you can search within the document by clicking here. If, for example, you were looking for the phrase slavery and where it comes up on this article, you could search within a search. Because this is an image, you can change the page right here. Very easy to change the page. Now, let's say you find this article to be so relevant, you want to find like articles. You don't want to do a new query search. You really think this is on point, and you want to find other articles or documents that are like this. You could click on more like this, which is a feature we started about a few years ago. And you click on more like this, and it's going to find, using an algorithm, it's going to find what the computer feels are the most interesting words from this particular article. So notice it picked up on the word public education. It picked up on Brown, which is referring to Brown versus Board of Education. It picked up on the term desegregation, public policy, and historical. Now, if I agree with how this is boosted, notice it really gave a lot of emphasis to public education. I could keep all of these and look at these to see which are the most relevant articles to my research. For example, there's this article on racial desegregation and same-sex marriage. Notice it's cited by 6 other articles and it's accessed 3 times. And then here's an article, the new white flight, cited by 7 articles and accessed 13 times. You can look at that. Sometimes you even have articles that are cited by cases, and you can click seamlessly to those cases that cite this article. And then for all of these, you'll notice we have Pathfinder subjects. We want you to quickly be able to hone in on the key topics of any document in HeinOnline. So we know that this article here deals with constitutional law, desegregation, race and ethnicity, domestic relations, 14th Amendment, all the different things it touches on In this case, it even touches on gender in the law. So this article is very interesting, and you can really go in depth into this. Now, you may disagree with how the algorithm boosted things. For example, you may want public policy to be even more important. Public education might be a little less important, and you really might want it to have the term Plessy, as in Plessy versus Ferguson, and you might want to specify just documents that, if you're research, you want to see what may have come out just between the years of 1950 to 2000. And then you could rerun your search with these new boostings, with these new instructions to see what you may have. And you see we have all sorts of new results here that are really fine-tuned to look at what you're looking for. Now, I'm going to take you to quickly do because I realize I don't have that much time left. I want to show you the Venn diagram feature. I'm going to show it to you in the LGBTQ rights collection. And you can see, I mentioned that we have an introductory timeline. This is that unique introductory timeline specifically on LGBTQ rights in America. This alone you could use to teach a seminar on the major events in LGBTQ rights in America. But let's look at this. So the Mattachine Society, the Lavender Scare. We're looking at key events in the history of the gay rights movement. Executive Order 10450 from April 1953. Daughters of Bilitis. Here's a specific one, Incorporated versus Olson. Some key, we're focusing on some key cases, as well as key events such as the Stonewall riots in New York City, Harvey Milk assassination, 1978, San Francisco, National March on Washington, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a great learning tool for anyone, whether it's during Pride Month or any other period, whether you're an academic institution, a law firm, a government, library, what have you. This is really a useful tool. Now, I'm going to go into advanced search, and I'm going to do a Venn diagram search, and I'm going to put in some terms. I'm going to do a quick one. I'm going to put in gender, and I'm going to put in transgender and sports and NCAA. And you can see this Venn diagram quickly shows, especially visual learners, it shows the lay of the land of how concepts are organized within this LGBTQ collection. So the term sports obviously comes up more than any other term. There are 128 results just on sports. Transgender comes up 289 times, and NCAA comes up 7 times. But we want to see the overlap between these concepts, and that is just right here. And that's when you're going to go into some details on the civil rights aspects of athletics and LGBTQ athletes discrimination in sports. Notice Title IX and transgender athletes, etc. So you can really zero in on specific titles. All of that said, we have a blog which constantly has new articles on these social justice topics. As I said, you can register for our social justice suite, and we would love for you to have any questions. We do have two minutes for a few questions. If anyone wants to chat us some questions, or if Tim hasn't gotten a chance to answer any of those in the chat. Do we have any questions? Let's see. Yes, as Tim mentioned, the LibGuides are open access, so you can completely open access, so you can use them on your website. You can access them whenever you want. The URL for the general landing page for the social justice databases, it's the same as the main URL. Go to HeinOnline.org and then click on HeinOnline. Yes, as Tim has it, HeinOnline.org, HOL, welcome, and it'll take you to whatever databases you subscribe to and or the social justice suite if you get that as well. So it'll appear with any other collections you get on HeinOnline. Someone asked how international are these collections? Well, in some cases, HeinOnline is very international with information. We have subscribers now in over 150 countries. So as we have relationships with libraries throughout the world, that allows us the opportunity to get more and more international material, including many international journals. So there is an international and foreign component to so many things that are on HeinOnline, but I can say that the real focus of the social justice suite, whether we're talking about civil rights and social justice, gun regulation, LGBTQ rights, open society, and slavery is US, but from time to time you will see world materials as well, as you can see right in the title, From Slavery in America and the World History, Culture, and Law. So just be aware there are foreign and international materials, but so many of these collections do have a little bit of a US focus as well. So does anyone have any other questions? Yes, someone asked if the taxonomy is being applied across other libraries. Yes, so all the documents in HeinOnline we are applying taxonomies to. It's still a process. Someone asked if we will be giving a recording late. Yeah, recording of this. Yes, we have started the recording, so that should be available. So anyone who registered will be sent a link for the recording. And so I'm sorry if I've missed any questions. Looks like we're 1 minute over. I apologize for that. Thank you everyone for your time. It's great connecting with you. If you have any questions, you can always email me at sroses@wshein.com or my colleague Tim Hoagie, and we would be happy to answer any questions for you. Thank you so much. You guys are great. Have a wonderful day.